before this story starts, make sure to like, share, and subscribe, because tonight's story might make you afraid of traveling alone after midnight. It was raining heavily in Chicago. Daniel stood alone at the empty bus stop after missing the last train home. The streets were silent, no people, no cars, only cold wind and rain. Daniel checked his phone, 11:57 p.m. "Great," he muttered. Then suddenly, bright headlights appeared through the rain. An old city bus slowly stopped in front of him, Route 66. Strange thing was, Daniel had lived in the city for years, but he had never seen Route 66 before. The bus doors opened with a loud metallic hiss. Inside, only 3 passengers sat silently. An old woman near the window, a man wearing a black hoodie, and a little girl sitting alone at the very back. The driver looked pale and exhausted. His eyes looked almost lifeless. "Last stop," the driver whispered softly. Daniel hesitated, but because of the storm, he stepped inside. The doors slammed shut behind him. The bus started moving. At first, everything seemed normal. Rain hit the windows. The engine growled softly. But after a few minutes, Daniel noticed something strange. Nobody moved. Nobody blinked. The passengers sat completely still like statues. Daniel felt uncomfortable. He looked outside the window. The roads looked unfamiliar now. No buildings, no traffic lights, only endless dark roads surrounded by trees. Daniel walked toward the driver. "Excuse me, where are we?" The driver stayed silent, slowly. He lifted one finger and pointed toward the rear-view mirror. Confused, Daniel looked into the mirror and it instantly froze. In the reflection, the passengers didn't look human anymore. The old woman's skin looked rotten. The man in the hoodie had completely black eyes. And the little girl, she was smiling unnaturally wide. Daniel quickly turned around, but they looked normal again. His breathing became faster. Sweat rolled down his forehead. He slowly returned to his seat. Then suddenly, the little girl spoke. "You're not supposed to be here." Daniel stared at her nervously. "What do you mean?" The girl slowly lifted her head. Water dripped from her hair onto the bus floor. "This bus only takes dead people home." Lights flickered. The old woman began smiling wider, wider, till her mouth stretched unnaturally across her face. Crack. The man in the hoodie twisted his neck slowly toward Daniel, bones cracking loudly. Daniel panicked. He rushed toward the emergency exit, but it wouldn't open. The bus suddenly accelerated faster through the darkness. Outside the windows, shadowy figures stood beside the road. Dozens of them, watching the bus pass. Some of them waved slowly. Daniel screamed at the driver, "Stop the bus!" The driver finally spoke, cold, emotionless. "You got on at the wrong stop." Suddenly, the lights went out completely. Darkness filled the bus. Daniel heard whispering all around him, cold breathing near his ears, hands touching his shoulders from the darkness. Then a soft laugh echoed behind him, the little girl's voice. "You should have stayed outside." Daniel shut his eyes tightly. Then suddenly, the lights turned back on. The bus was empty. Every passenger had disappeared. The bus had stopped in front of a massive graveyard. The doors slowly opened. The driver pointed outside. "Your stop." Daniel ran out of the bus without looking back. Rain poured heavily as he sprinted toward the main road. After a few seconds, he finally turned around. The bus was gone, vanished completely. The next morning, Daniel searched online for Route 66 city bus records, but instead, he found an old news article 20 years ago. A bus traveling during a storm had crashed near the old graveyard. Everyone inside died, including the driver. Daniel's hands trembled as he looked at the blurry photo attached to the article. Keys sitting in the back seat, was the little girl, smiling directly at the camera, ending, and from that night onward, Daniel never traveled alone after midnight again, because sometimes the last bus home isn't meant for the living. Outro. If you enjoyed this horror story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more terrifying stories every week. And remember, if you ever see a bus route you don't recognize late at night, don't get on.